Friends, our privacy is very important to us, be it digital or any other. This Saturday, I'll take you through an important presentation on digital privacy. Like always, my hope is that it will add value to your lives. Digital privacy refers to the protection of an individual's information that is used or created while using the internet on a computer or a personal device. Digital privacy is often used in contexts that promotes advocacy on behalf of an individual or the consumer privacy rights in e-services and is typically used in opposition to the business practices of many e-marketers, businesses, and companies to collect and use such information and data. The central government had recently warned citizens not to share photocopies of their Aadhaar cards with the organization, with any organization, as they could be misused or misinterpreted, though it also withdrew the same immediately. Now, what are the underlying issues that we must know? Like all other nations, we too have an Aadhaar card created by the Unique Identification Authority of India, UIDAI. Now, it collects our biometrics data using a 12-digit number unique to every user. That in the process, we have created the largest database in the world is also unique. It seemingly has adequate features for protecting and safeguarding the identity and privacy of the Aadhaar holder. In a verdict of the Honorable Supreme Court in 2018, where services like income tax returns, PAN card, and government-related subsidies such as LPG and Manrega are to be compulsorily linked with Aadhaar, utilities and services like mobile phones, bank accounts, schools, colleges, entrance exams, and various educational schemes that we have, they do not require Aadhaar linking. Now, does this lead to creation of the digital profile of a person with the data aggregated as it is? Can such data be misused? Now, these are important questions to answer. Actually, our Aadhaar card does many things for us. It acts as an address proof and validates our credentials. We could even open a bank account under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, availing the benefits like free zero balance, savings account, RuPay card, accident insurance, and many more. We could get LPG subsidy directly accredited in the bank account by just linking the Aadhaar number to the 17-digit LPG consumer identification number under the PEHL scheme. We could be spared of all those verification documents to open a bank account and have our monthly pension and provident fund deposited in our accounts directly. We could even obtain a passport and voter ID with minimum of us and maybe in less than 10 days. Linking voter IDs to Aadhaar cards could possibly eliminate the bogus voters and eliminate multiple voter IDs, which is also there within the government's thinking. The larger question, however, is everything good about Aadhaar? Not exactly. For one, compromising privacy of the individuals is a possibility. Obviously, there is an attempt to centralize the power within the government, which may generate ill will and deficit of trust between the government and its citizens. In these days of everything going digital, security breaches could lead to data falling in unwanted hands. Aadhaar-based identification may be used in lieu of ATM, debit or credit cards, but may be susceptible to forging of transactions. With still literacy being what it is in this country, Aadhaar-based offerings could prove tricky, at least for some. Aadhaar uses biometrics, and we feel biometrics is incredibly accurate. We believe our fingerprints, retina, or handprints are all unique. That is true. They are unique. However, what is not true is their stored representation, which is only an approximation of the real. The concern is that the approximation is used as a measure of authentication. Whereas a detailed picture of the fingerprints, iris, retina, face, etc., several features exist. Now, what is used for measurement are only the defining characteristics or points of that biometric identity and not all the complex features. Even the reader or the scanning device, as we know, and software that record our biometrics attributes can only approximate the details. The tiny micro changes are never captured. However, in some instances, cuts, abrasions, and wear patterns are captured which will never match later because they keep changing. On the other hand, if the scanner were to capture every minute detail, assuming the scanner catches all the details, most authentications would fail. The same applies to the face, the iris, the retina, or any other biometric attribute, resulting in several false positives and false negatives. Now, research also points out that biometric attributes change almost every minute. So they can never successfully be authenticated in several cases. Besides, biometrics is not even a secret information in that we possibly have left our fingerprints, our facial images all over the place. One important privacy concern with Aadhaar is the identity theft. Privacy protection in digital databases is an important subject, and Aadhaar is vulnerable to illegal harvesting of biometrics and identity frauds. Data could even leak either from the central Aadhaar repository or from a point of sale or an enrollment device. Sometimes false positives or false negatives could identify people wrongly, or the data could be used to identify people illegally without their consent by correlating identities across domains using global Aadhaar IDs. This may even happen through one or more authentication requesting agencies and their databases. This may allow individuals to be tracked or put under surveillance without legal sanction or even their permission. The KYC that we all undergo at some point of time or the other can be used for a totally different purpose. For the Aadhaar does not record the purpose of authentication. There seems to be a lack of protection against insider threats and lack of virtual identities which were retrofitted in a limited sense that raise some serious privacy concerns. Even the absence of a clear data usage policy and regulatory oversight adds to the problem. In order to address the privacy concerns, we need a robust consent and purpose limitation framework and a regulatory access control architecture. The national identity system must be respectful of the fundamental rights of the citizens. The Supreme Court's order that prohibits Aadhaar metadata to be stored for more than 6 months, or striking down part of Section 57 of the Aadhaar Act, which allowed private corporations to verify Aadhaar data, is most welcome. The government passed the Data Protection Bill in December 2019 based on the judgment passed by the Supreme Court, which could have helped maintain some right to privacy. However, that bill has now been withdrawn this month in the Parliament in light of changing expectations of the stakeholders and will now be replaced with a new bill with a comprehensive framework and contemporary digital privacy laws. Forget Aadhaar and metadata for some time. You know what Ron Paul, an American author, activist, physician, and retired politician who served as the US representative for Texas, said, "I'm absolutely opposed to a national ID card. This is a total contradiction of what a free society is all about. The purpose of the government is to protect the secrecy and the privacy of all the individuals, not the secrecy of the government. We don't need a national ID card." Now that's some food for thought. Even as we think about it, there are some best practices too to follow, like using a must Aadhaar which displays only the last 4 digits of the Aadhaar number that could be downloaded from UIDAI's official website. We must also avoid using a public computer at an internet cafe or kiosk to download e-Aadhaar. And if it is still done for some reason, at least we must delete all the downloaded copies of the e-Aadhaar permanently from that computer. Remember that. We often stay in hotels when we travel outside or may book tickets at film halls. Do you know that they are not permitted to collect or keep copies of the Aadhaar cards and is an offense under the Aadhaar Act 2016? In fact, no private entity can demand to see an Aadhaar card or seek a photocopy of the same unless they have a valid user license from UIDAI. UIDAI must have issued that user license. Remember what Dana Milbank, an American author and columnist for the Washington Post, said. It's hard to violate somebody's privacy if the person is completely anonymous. So remember, if you want your privacy to be protected, remain anonymous. Friends, that is the end of today's presentation. Hope you are a little wiser on the privacy front of your lives. Being alive to privacy issues and keeping abreast of its nuances is important as any other part of our lives. Friends, having ended here, I would wish all of you a very nice weekend. Signing off for today with a promise that I'll be back the next Saturday with another Saturday Wisdom episode. Until then, thank you, Dhanyavad, and Namaskar.